Hello, you beautiful people! So, the most anticipated character during the entire Amphoreus Arc just got drip marketed, and I already know that all of you guys are interested in her. So today, I'm mainly going to talk about all the info that we have on Castorice as of now. Along with this, we'll also take a look at her playstyle, her potential team synergies, and some other info related to her best in slot Relic set and Planar set. Also, I do this whenever a new drip marketing happens, and continuing the custom, I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about her drip marketing? Personally, I think a lot of you already know that I love this character a lot, and naturally, I really like her overall drip marketing as well, and that dragon also looks really good. Before we go on though, if you're planning to pull for the Herda or the rerunning units in version 3.0, you might want to check out Lubar because on this site, you can save up to a total of 23% on all your purchases. Just as an example, I'll buy this 3280 Oniric Shard pack for $43, and this same pack costs me about $50 from the in-game shop. You can see that it's cheaper, right? The top-up process is honestly really easy as well because all you need to do is enter your UID in this box and choose your respective server depending on your account. After waiting for a few minutes, I received my Jades with the double top-up bonus because it was my first purchase and saved a decent amount of money. Also, other than HSR, you can top up on Genshin as well using Lubar, and both of these games have quite a lot of 5-star reviews. Lastly, if you use my link which is in the description or the pinned comment, you can get an extra 8% off on top of all the other discounts, so do keep that in mind. Anyways, moving on, let me just mention the usual disclaimer that this version of her kit is not the final one, and you'll definitely see some new mechanics and changes in her actual kit, so take all this info with a grain of salt. With that being said, let's begin without wasting any more of your time or energy. Okay, starting with the basics, we've already known this for months, but the drip marketing finally confirmed that Castorice is going to be a quantum-type character who follows the path of remembrance. Just like Aglaya, who was our first remembrance unit, Castorice also plays the role of a main DPS on your team while having some sustained capabilities similar to Bailu, but I think I will reserve that topic for the later parts of this video. I mean, it's not fun if I just tell you everything interesting about her kit in the very first paragraph, right? Now, I know that a lot of people also want to know her exact release date, just to plan out their savings, and it's a date that they can look forward to. Well, if the current patch schedule remains the exact same, her banner will go live on April 9th for the Asia and Europe servers, and on April 8th for the America servers. Yep, you have quite a lot of time to start saving for her right now, so don't worry about it at all. Also, I'm just going to mention that I'll be posting a video where I'll calculate the total amount of Stellar Jades that you can get in patch 3.1, so do keep an eye out for that video on Friday after the 3.1 live stream. Alright, seeing as we're done with the basics, let's finally take a look at her kit, and after that, we'll also discuss a little bit about her best in slot Relic set, and whether she'll work with Sunday or mydei. Okay, first of all, I think I can pretty confidently say that her basic attack will be pretty generic, something along the lines of, this ability deals quantum damage to a single target and that's pretty much it. Honestly, her entire kit is quite literally focused around her dragon, and she is mostly there to summon the dragon while providing some huge buffs to it. Basically, her main thing is that she drains a big amount of HP from all your teammates whenever she takes a turn, and using this drained HP, she buffs her own memo sprite. Just yesterday, a source posted that her kit has mixed mechanics from Jingyuan, Jinglu, Bailu, and Blade, and I have to say, this is genuinely very on point and summarizes her entire kit quite easily. I know some of you are probably confused though, especially if you haven't watched any of my other videos, so let me quickly break this info down for you, because that's what I'm literally here for. Okay, so first of all, Castorice is an HP scaling DPS unit just like Blade, and she drains HP from your entire team whenever she attacks, which is a mechanic that Jinglu also has in her own kit. I know Jinglu's team-wide HP drain is supposed to be like a negative thing about her kit, but for Castorice, this HP drain mechanic is very important because it provides her with some huge extra buffs. Honestly, I think you'll realize how important this HP drain is when we discuss her potential team synergies, but focusing on the current topic, this source compared her to Jingyuan because the majority of her damage comes from her summon, and lastly, she is similar to Bailu because she has an inbuilt revive in her kit. Yep, based on the recent info, her talent will allow her to revive any teammate if their HP drops to 0, and it's actually better than Bailu's talent because each unit on the team will have a separate revive. All in all, I think you probably understand the main idea of her kit by now, and just to give a recap, Castorice is an HP scaling DPS who has a very low base speed and mainly depends on her Memo Sprite to deal the majority of the damage, while she herself provides buffs to this Memo Sprite depending on the amount of HP that she drains from her own team. Anyways, next up, now that you are very familiar with the general idea of her kit, let's take a look at her potential team synergies. Okay, so starting off, I think a lot of us already assumed that Castorice will want Sunday in her team because Sunday is literally meant to be a support for summon or Memo Sprite-based DPS units. So it makes sense for him to be her dedicated support, right? Well, the recent info says otherwise because according to a source, Castorice will scale insanely well depending on the amount of HP that she drains from your team, and if you're still confused. This info basically states that she wants teammates who have a really high amount of max HP. Now, just by coincidence, both the 3.1 units, namely mydei and Tribi, scale off HP, and both of them have a pretty decent amount of HP in battle, which allows Castorice to drain a decent amount of HP from the both of them and buff her own Memo Sprite by a decent amount. Also, to back this up, the source stated all the recent test teams for Castorice are using her in the dual DPS setup with mydei and Tribi, rather than using her with Sunday and RMC. Other than that, apparently Castorice will have a total of 2 ultimate bars, and one of this ultimate bar only fills up depending on the amount of HP that she drains, which kind of explains why she might prefer mydei and Tribi as her teammates. Overall, I honestly think that Castorice will have 2 playstyles. One of them will be the hypercarry playstyle with Sunday, and the other will be the dual DPS playstyle with mydei, but I can't say which team will be the better one. I mean, her synergy with Sunday also makes sense if you think about it, because he can action advance both Castorice and her Memo Sprite, but for now, we'll just have to wait for her proper kit. Lastly, as I promised at the start of the video, let's take a look at the final topic, which is related to her best in slot Relic set and Planar set. Okay, so if you were paying just a little bit of attention throughout the video, by now you probably know that Castorice has a very slow playstyle, and she is most likely going to have a very low base speed. Well, didn't we just get a set released in patch 3.0, which coincidentally seems to be a perfect match for characters with a very slow playstyle? And if you haven't connected the dots yet, of course I'm talking about the Poet set. Looking at this set's description, it gives you a massive 32% extra crit rate if the wearer's speed is below 95, and on top of that, it also provides the wearer a decent 10% extra quantum damage as well. All in all, the crit rate that this set provides is really great, and if Castorice does end up having access to other sources of crit rate, this set will allow her to massively invest in crit damage without worrying about anything else. Now, as for her Planar set, I think her best in slot Planar isn't even in the game yet, because in patch 3.1, we'll get a new Planar set, and this set seems to be literally made for mydei and Castorice. Basically, this set increases the wearer's max HP by 12%, and if the wearer does end up having more than 5,000 HP, this set gives a decent 28% extra crit damage to the wearer and their Memo Sprite as well. Overall, the 5,000 HP condition should be really easy for both mydei and Castorice, and you should definitely start farming the set as soon as patch 3.1 goes live. Anyways, with that, we're totally done discussing her entire preliminary kit in detail, and honestly, I really like the general direction of her kit, and the playstyle also seems fun when you think about it. I want to ask though, how do you guys feel about her kit overall, and are you planning to pull for her, or maybe you're skipping her? Also, if you ended up watching until the end, you might want to consider subscribing as well. With that being said, I just want to say I love y'all, and I will see you in another one.